So today I have Jim Meyer, who's a husband, a dad, a comedian, a writer, and now apparently is the face of garbage.
I'm not ready to say that publicly.
Oh, okay.
Like, I haven't been given the go-ahead from the garbage company.
So we shouldn't even talk about that at all then.
We shouldn't talk about this is as close as we get to it, but I might be the spokesmodel for trash.
I love it.
Yeah.
So this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah. A lot of people think, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a spokesmodel, and I think dumpster is my highest plane. Like I'm not gonna do a Dodge Stratus. They don't want me for that. But I think I'm better than, say, like a pancreatitis medicine.
I think you are better than that for sure.
Yeah. So I feel like dumpster's my sweet spot.
That is hilarious. So
that's a beautiful piece of artwork behind you.
Yeah, my wife found this online, and she was like, I think it'd be great for the podcast. And I was like, F it, let's get it. So, yeah, it's on Etsy.
You know, I'm not a big Grateful Dead fan.
You know, I'm not either.
They have a famous song called Fire on the Mountain.
I know that.
And that is very evocative.
It really, and it's cool because it can change, like, you know, colors because it's LED, and I just like orange. Orange and black.
You might be living in the future.
I think I am. Oh,
I just
look at you.
I'm trying to make the lights work better here. Is this better?
I mean, Jim, you look fantastic.
Oh, well.
You know, we already talked about this, how handsome
I learned it from you.
Oh, stop, you know. So the last time we hung out, we played, I was in your basement. Dungeons and Dragons, which is the first time I ever played.
Pathfinder, but the same thing.
Oh, yeah. And I had a blast, like, hanging out with you and Tommy and all those guys. That was just a really good time. I've never played Dungeon or like Pathfinder or like anything like that ever. I haven't since because I don't have anybody to play with. But I actually really enjoyed myself.
The saddest thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry. It is pretty sad.
That little bit where you said, because I don't have anybody.
Because
I feel like if you looked out there, you've got people. You've
like
got nerds. Yeah.
I should call you and Tommy and just be like, let's just play. You know?
Oh, yeah, I would play. Like, we'd both be trolls or some shit.
Yeah. Do you still hang out with Tommy at all?
We talk, and I was at a party at his house not infinitely long ago, but, you know, I'm not part of the podcast anymore, and so I don't see him as often as I used to.
Yeah.
But, we admire one another.
I mean, yeah, you guys are hilarious and great, and I admire both of you guys.
Oh.
You know?
And I you.
Oh, well, stop it.
Even if you didn't have that remarkable beard. And that thing is fantastic.
You know, it's so funny. Did I ever tell you where I met my wife? Did I ever tell you the story?
Was it the esthetician?
It was there the one time. But so I met her on a dating app as us older millennials have started doing when you're divorced and looking for love again late in life. And I saw a ad for a thing that was called Bristler, and the thing came up and it said, "Do you have a beard?" And I'm like, yeah, I got a beard. And it said, "Do you like or do you want a girl that likes beards?" And I was like, "F yeah, I really do."
Yes. Like, why wouldn't you?
Right. Like, I grew it. Like, you think I grew this for me? No, I grew this for a woman to look at.
I want a broad who finds my face horrible.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I joined this dating site, and the tagline is "Where beardies meet beauties."
Oh.
So I was like, "This is beautiful." So I sign up, scrolling through, and you can't message the other person unless you both like each other, but you don't get notifications that you both like each other until you both like each other. So
can I interject real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know where beardies meet beauties?
Do I know them?
Do you know where beardies meet? Right there in you. You're both
where?
A beauty. You are a beauty and a beardy.
Oh, so they meet with me?
You are the Venn diagram.
Stop.
Of beardies and beauties.
Oh, you stop it.
Oh,
thank you.
You know what? This is how hunters talk.
It is.
You get up in a tree or like a shrubbery,
Uh-huh.
and then you compliment one another's facial hair,
Right. I mean, you have to, because that's men.
And then you tell one another you're beautiful,
Right.
and
Which we
that's how
have.
it works.
Yeah, I love this. We gotta hang out more often. My self confidence is like up here tonight because of you. So
What's your
thank you.
tattoo up in there?
Oh my god, this is it was supposed
It's
to
like
be
a turtle footprint.
well, I was in beer for forever. I'm still in beer, and that was supposed to be a camo hop, and it was a drunken whim when I was with my wife out in Salem, and
Oregon.
yeah, Salem, Oregon, and we were drunk. Got a tattoo. The guy said he could do it, and doesn't look anything like what the tattoo was supposed to be. So now it looks like a chopped up pineapple.
Okay, it
It's
wasn't
not
supposed to be a chopped up pineapple.
No, it's supposed to be a hop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
My
doesn't
wife's
go.
no. My wife's looks amazing. They messed mine up.
Clearly liked her better.
Yeah. But I don't feel like driving back out to Oregon to get.
Arm.
So yeah. So yeah, I met my wife on that bearded website.
Stand up.
Who, me?
No, me. I used to
Oh.
live in Oregon,
Did you?
and that's where I started stand up comedy.
Didn't you also do writing out in Washington somewhere,
I mean,
or was it out in Oregon area?
Oregon,
Okay.
but I would spend time in Washington, and I
Okay.
probably wrote something down while I was there.
I was looking at your Facebook and all the things that you were doing, just so I could like
Doing so
know
many
a little
things.
bit more. Yeah, and I was like, his work history is worse. It's worse than mine. And I have
What do
a
you mean worse.
worse as like the list keeps on going forever because I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, he's like me. We've done a lot.
I've done a lot of dumb jobs. I was the king at medieval times.
Were you really?
I was the king at medieval times. I was also wizard and executioner.
Oh wow.
I rode a mighty stallion daily.
Jeez.
What else have I done? I helped train federal agents by pretending to be a bad guy.
Really?
I
Wait. Okay, talk about that a little bit more. What did you do with that?
Oh, so I was 19 or 20 years old, and my friend had graduated from the same college that I was still attending.
Okay.
And he was working on Fort Meade and found out about this thing where they needed actors, quote unquote,
Right.
to help train would-be federal agents. And the 3 times I did it, it was always would-be postal inspectors. And so they would... So the postal inspectors, the would-be postal inspectors, were practicing like armed stops.
Okay.
So I had do you remember the Acura Integra?
Yes.
I had a little Acura Integra that was not mine, and I had fake drugs, cocaine,
Ooh.
and fake pot.
Are you sure it was fake?
I never snorted or smoked it because there were real federal.
Oh yeah. Yes. You're kind of like, I'm not even gonna try this.
I'm just gonna take your word for it.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure this is real cocaine. And then I had a knife and a fake gun.
Wow.
And they would pull me over, and I wasn't supposed to be a dick, but if they fucked up, I would make hay.
Oh.
And my greatest moment
Oh
was
god.
they pull me over in this Acura Integra, and it was New York City cops who were trying to become federal agents, right?
Mhm.
And we're at Fort Meade, and there's a section that's shut off so we could do this play acting. They pull me over, and they put me in the back of the squad car, but they didn't close the door all the way. And I'm handcuffed behind my back, right? But I'm in the back of the squad car, and I'm realizing the door's open. So I kicked open the door, like you do.
Yeah. 'Cause
And
you have to-
then I started running, but I'm handcuffed. And I'm running into the forest, or the wood. It's more of a wood than a forest.
Right.
And then I realized, but there's an area we weren't supposed to cross because then real police would respond.
Oh,
geez. I would
jeez.
just be some handcuffed hippie,
Yeah.
like sprinting through Fort Meade. So and they're chasing me, and I start to curve, right? Because I don't want to go into the area where we're not supposed to go.
Right.
And this motherfucking NYPD guy just tackles me. Wow, like this. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Did double time help?
Yeah. So did he actually say it too?
He said "Wow."
Man, see, that's what makes it even.
And you know what the craziest thing is? He was Polish, and his officer was named Stanislav Wabau.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Wabaus me in the ground, in the earth, into the dirt, and he starts just pounding my face, like he's got me by the hair. I had really long hair, and he's pounding my face into the ground. And this is pretend.
Yeah, you're an actor.
Yeah. I mean, the real, what do you call it?
Trainers?
But yeah, the trainer, but a real postal inspector, this woman just hoists this motherfucker off me. Like you would not believe that this little woman could just this guy off me. And she's like, that may be how you do it in the NYPD, but that's not how we do it as federal agents. And, and I'm just, but I was literally like, this is pretend! This is pretend! I've had dumb jobs.
That just sounds like such a crazy thing that it sounds like something that would happen to you.
I washed airplanes for the Air National Guard in Oregon.
Did you? You just watched them?
Washed airplanes and helicopters.
Oh, watched. I just said watched.
I just watched.
I was like, I mean, you can get paid to watch
They
airplanes.
just paid me to just give it a side eye.
Yeah, well, there it is. Here or there.
Dude, so this is, we're not going to use any of this in the podcast, but I was working there at the Portland Air Guard Base right after 9/11. I was there before 9/11 and then after 9/11, right? And after 9/11, the guys of the Portland Air National Guard had to start pretending like they were in the real military.
Really? Well, because they.
So we had to get our. So I was at the guard shack, getting my what do you call it? My security all redone. They were redoing all the security, and the sergeant who's doing my security thing was like watching out the window and looking just like more and more perplexed. And then finally he's like, "Go get him off that ladder before he kills somebody." And there was some Portland Air Guardsman on a ladder with his M16 slung across his chest,
Oh my god!
picking fruit from the apple tree. Like he was just like doing the shit they always did, but now armed. And
wow! So they're like, you can't do that anymore. You can shoot the tree. You can shoot the apples down.
Shoot the tree. Like give your rifle to someone else, and then climb
go
the tree.
Yeah, and then get your apples. And that guy sounds like he was just enjoying life, enjoying apples, you know?
Yeah. Apples are delicious. You can't
really
argue with it.
No, you can't argue with that apples are delicious.
Top 37 fruit. Would you be offended if I did...
I wouldn't be offended at all.
Okay, good. But if I just slightly smoked from a hookah while we talked?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
I don't care. Yeah.
Don't tell the authorities, but it's legal now.
Oh, yeah, it is very illegal now. So how'd you end up doing 98 Rock stuff? Because I know that you did it for a little bit, but like, how did you get involved in that?
A little bit. It was years. So just doing stand up. I moved back to Baltimore in early whatever, and 2003, 2004, somewhere in there, and I did the Funniest Person in Baltimore contest. And I met Kirk McEwen, who at that point was host of the Kirk, Mark, and Lopez show.
Remember that?
And he invited me on, and I really hit it off with Lopez. And so I was doing more and more, and then I knew Mickey from doing stand-up.
Yep.
And then when Mickey and Amelia came on, he brought me on. And then when it switched over to like Scott and Justin and all, I had a relationship with all three of those guys. I wrote a profile of what's his name? Oh boy, what's his name? The news guy.
Justin?
Spiegel.
Josh.
I did a profile of Spiegel, Josh, for City Paper, and when Justin was first starting stand up, he would come and work shit out at the room that I ran in Hamden.
Oh, wow.
So
He's funny.
Guys. He's
hilarious.
A remarkably talented comedian.
Yeah.
Like, there's been some people that have come through this town that are just shockingly talented.
It really is amazing. Speaking of Mickey, I haven't really heard much from. I know while he was on 98 Rock, he was talking about that he was filming a sitcom, and then after he left 98 Rock, I never really heard anything about anything.
I don't want to talk too much. Mickey's living like just yesterday. I saw on the internet that he was hosting a bikini contest.
Oh, nice!
At the Tiki Lee Bar, which is a fine establishment by the sea in East Baltimore.
Yeah, I love that spot.
So he's still got his foot in dude. Mickey's always been really kind to me, and I perform with him a great deal. Mm-hmm. I got to do stand-up comedy at a redneck. Hold on a second. This is about to at a redneck yacht club. With him just weeks ago.
Really?
Months ago, maybe 2 months ago.
So, how do you describe a redneck yacht club? Is it what I think it is?
It's exactly what you think it is.
Okay, this is great.
None of the yachts are really yachts.
Right.
It's more boats.
Yeah. They held together with a camo duct tape.
Now imagine, you know the guy in what do you call that movie? The golf movie. What's that fucking golf movie? Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's a wonderful place to be. They were incredible. They were so nice to me. They laughed at my dumb jokes.
It was always good.
I did jokes about whales fucking in northern Maryland.
Oh, wow.
And they enjoyed it. And whales don't fuck here.
Why? They don't like Maryland enough?
There's not enough whales here. There's not a critical mass of fuckable whales.
I mean, all you need is two whales.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, if you get two fuckable whales, then...
I mean, aren't they all? I mean, yeah, they're not really that hot to me either.
I mean, some of them let themselves go.
Yeah, they really have. That's what they're called whales.
I've seen some whales that I wouldn't fuck with your dick.
Oh, you know what? Good. Thank you for that, because I wouldn't want to either.
Oh, imagine if I had to fuck a whale with your dick. How awkward would that be for all three of us?
It would be so awkward. I'd be like, why am I doing this again?
Tyler, come on, get in there. And the whale would be like, is it in yet?
Oh, the whale would definitely say that.
Dick. You might have the biggest human dick, but a whale's not going to notice.
It's not a whale dick. It's not.
No. Do you know how big a whale dick is?
Probably bigger than me.
Like a blue whale's dick. I'm 6'2", right?
Right.
Longer than me. And prehensile. Like it can move about more. Why are we talking? This is.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it can segue into what we're going to talk about. Is that you say did you fish a little bit?
I do.
So we could talk about. I mean, have you been fishing for whales, and that's how you know how big their dicks are?
No, I just enjoy whale wang. No, I saw this
whale wang.
I watched. Oh my god, this is a true story.
Oh, God.
So me and my boys, I have two boys, 9 and 12, but at this time they were 8 and 11, because it was like 6 months ago. We're watching this documentary series on Nat Geo, right, called Whales, where every episode is about a different whale. Not like a different individual whale. Like this week is about Steve. He's let himself go.
Right.
You know, it's about a different kind of whale.
Oh, okay, different types of
species, if you will.
Gotcha.
So we're watching. It's me and my boys, and we're sitting on the couch, and we're watching this documentary about sperm whales, which is already fun.
Yeah, it's already hilarious.
Yeah, and it's narrated by Sigourney Weaver. Do you remember her?
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. She's got that beautiful voice.
She does.
There she is in Wales. And so there's a bunch of, it's somewhere in like in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And there's these sperm whales. And there's like 9 of them, and they're having an orgy. There's no other way to put it. They're, and it's weird. Okay, you know, a whale, you think of a whale like this, but when they're orgying, they're like this.
Oh, they're all upright?
They're all upright like that. And the whale dicks are just wanging around, like, right? And there's more dicks than ladies, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole fucking whale orgy. And there's scuba divers in the water filming this. I'm not a whaleologist. I will say that straight away.
Fair.
But I don't think the whales wanted to be videotaped in their orgy. And here's how I knew. Do you want to know?
How do you know?
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I do, actually.
So one of the whales pulls himself out. Oh, by the way, do you know the advantage whales have over humans in an orgy?
That they're way bigger?
With no elbows.
Oh.
You know, it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like in an orgy?
Yeah, because every time I've had an orgy, I've always been, man, I wish we didn't have elbows like whales.
Yeah, goddamn.
You know?
We should need to find a place for this thing.
Yeah,
This
I know.
There's two kinds of people in this world, by the way, Tyler. People who find that funny and people who've never been in an orgy.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So whales are orgying, and one of the whales is like, I've had enough of these fucking scuba divers. He pulls himself out of a whale orgy, swims as fast as he can, much like my hand is doing right now, at the divers. At the last minute, he pulls off and explosively shits upon them.
Really?
Yeah, just shits all over the divers. Two other whales in the orgy are like, that was a really good idea. Two more whales pull themselves out of the orgy, swim as fast as they can, shit all over them. Maybe eating Mexican krill, like, or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Mexican squid, I don't know, whatever these whales. Something nasty. All the whales pull themselves out of the orgy and form a daisy chain of shitting on these divers. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Me and my 8-year-old, my 11-year-old were crying laughter, like just crying. But Sigourney Weaver comes on and she says, it was as if the whales were trying to communicate their displeasure.
You think?
I forget. You think so? Because I think the whales fucking nailed it in every language on the planet except for maybe German.
Because Germans
maybe
like
a German would like, he wants to party. But the rest of us get it. The rest of us would get, like a duck would be like, all right, I'm out. All right, you don't want me watching your orgy. A Frenchman, gone. The fucking these dumbass scuba divers who must have been German.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm laughing so hard I'm sweating right now. I don't like it. It's hot in my house, I guess.
I went fishing. Was in North Carolina.
Oh, really? What'd you fish for out there? Because that's the one thing that I've been like talking about on my podcast is that I love the outdoors. I do a lot of hunting, but I'm terrible at fishing. Like, I'm just effing terrible. I don't know why.
What are you doing?
I'm putting bait on a hook and I'm casting it out, and then I cast it and then I reel it in. Sometimes I go pop, 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 and put nothing.
Seems like you're doing everything right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how am I so terrible at this?
Makes any goddamn sense.
That's
no
what I can say.
In this, Tyler.
No, there's not. The last time I went fishing, I was kind of like what you were saying. Like, I went out and I did a charter in the Chesapeake Bay, and I did some rockfish, and we limited out, me and my friends, and I had a blast, and I ate a ton of rockfish. But you went tuna fishing. Tuna fishing. Did you catch any tuna?
No. Oh, we caught not. So it's me and a bunch of my college buddies, two of whom used to be captains of fishing charters.
Well, they suck. That's what they used to be, I guess.
And all these guys know their shit. We get in. It's a 64-foot boat, like one of those fucking offshore North Carolina central. Just like the kind of boat for this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We get there at 5:30 as we're supposed to, and they're like, "Yeah, the weather's too fucked. We're not going out till sunrise, and the whole fleet's going out together." So like all the captains got together, and we're like, "We're not going out, right?" And so you got to go out so we're going out end to end. These 60-foot boats, fucking nose to tail. The idea being, if one sinks, the next one's there to pull you out of the drink, right?
Okay, and that makes sense.
And it's a chain of boats, and you have to go out probably 2 miles to get out past the beach and then cut up the beach. So now those same waves that you were just like that are hitting you from the side, right? So now it's the boat, and I'm in a 64 foot, 63 foot, something like that, and I'm looking out the window, and it's just water.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? It's not, there's no sky. It's just water. And then eventually they find their spot, and they go out and whatever, and we fucking go through that shit. And I'll never forget, though, at the end of the day, we're coming back in, and I'm sitting on the back deck, and it's beautiful. Glassy, smooth, sun is out. It's just me and the mate. And I'm trying to sound tough, which I'm not. I'm not tough.
Right.
I'm a horrible pussy. And I'm trying to sound tough, and I was like, we're going out this morning. That was pretty exciting. And this guy, the fucking mate, says to me, yeah, a lot of people think it's exciting. All I could think was there were 3 times where I was sure we were going to die. And that was it. That was his thing. And I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. I guess I was right to be fucking horrified.
A little scared. Yeah, exactly.
Like, we would have gone fishing another day.
Yeah, like, I can wait. Like, it's just tuna, man.
Yeah, it was. So we went out there and we caught one fish, one stupid bait fish.
That's it?
Yeah, in like 9.5 hours.
Oh, man.
Thousands of dollars. Risked our lives. But you know what the highlight was?
Not dying?
That was it. The secondary highlight, though. I wake up, right? I mean, we're in the salon of the boat. They call it the salon.
Oh, okay. It sounds nice.
It sounds so much nicer. It sounds so Spanish, doesn't it?
Right, it does.
Somebody's going to give you like what's a Spanish food? A tippet, maybe?
Sure. Tapas.
Give me a tapas.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening here. It's just a bunch of idiots passed out, occasionally doing cocaine. And not me, other people. So I wake up, and the boat is down in a swell, right? It's a 64-foot boat, and the waves are up 20 foot above where I'm at, right?
Oh, God.
And we're just in this beautiful swell, and we're surrounded by Atlantic white-sided dolphin. Now, I've seen a lot of dolphins and whales in my life. This is the only time I've ever seen a white-sided dolphin. Just a beautiful. They're smaller than a bottlenose, maybe like 7-8 foot long instead of 10 or 12.
Right.
Don't have that bottlenose. Come to a point, almost black, with just a shot of white down the side. Just gorgeous. And there's 40 of them all around us, above eye level. Right?
Because the waves are that high.
Because the waves are that high, and the dolphins are playing in the waves next to us. And so I'm surrounded above eye level by these white-sided dolphins. It's remarkable. That's why I'm going in September.
Man. That sounds awesome. What time of September are you going?
Wisely, my anniversary weekend.
Oh, that's smart.
I think it's like the 3rd weekend of September. No, we were supposed to go, like me and the same bunch of guys I go with every year. We're supposed to go a couple months ago, but the weather was so bad. The place, it was one of the places, it was one of the main crews from that show, Wicked Tuna. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to go out with them.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was like, we're going out with them in September instead, because it was 12-foot waves, which doesn't sound fun.
No, because at that point I'll be thrown up everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like if I'm getting rocked, if you're rocking that much,
that's a lot of wave.
It's a lot of wave. It's a ton of wave. September, I'm actually going to a New Brunswick. I'm doing a bear hunt. Where? Canada.
Wow.
Canada.
You're gonna hunt a bear.
I'm gonna hunt a bear with a bow.
What kind of bear?
Black bear.
Wise.
Yeah.
Because a grizzly bear would use that arrow to fuck you in the asshole.
Oh, yeah. I mean, completely. So I'm going to start off with the black bear, and then maybe I'll do grizzly. But I've never hunted anything. I do a lot of deer. Yeah, this is kind of. It's for my 40th birthday. My wife was like, "You're going."
Nice.
So, yeah. So I was like, "All right." So I'm going to do this. I'm going with one of her longtime friends who goes on this hunt all the time. So I'm really excited because, I mean, it's bear. Like I get to shoot a bear with a
well, I don't realize bears are dickheads.
They are dickheads.
Like,
I'm kind of nervous.
A bear, you'd be like, "You're a fucker." I was going to shoot you in the face with an arrow.
Yeah, yeah.
But not the face, more in the heart.
Yeah, because the face might just piss him off even more.
Just bounce off his fucking
mouth. Well, here's the crazy part, is that in Canada, I was telling my friend, and I was like, cool, so can I bring, like, my, at first I was going to take my gun. And my gun...
What were we going to hunt it with?
I was going to hunt with 350 Legend, which is... It's a rifle caliber that's now approved in Maryland.
I've never heard of it.
It's a newer caliber. It came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Winchester designed this caliber for states that are usually shotgun only. Maryland only had like 1 or 2 counties in all of Maryland that you can actually rifle hunt in. You had to use shotgun everywhere else.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there was like 16 states that are like that.
My 2 rifle the 2 rifles I have that I want to hunt with, I have a 44 Marlin that I've converted to a takedown. Pretty rad.
That sounds awesome.
Rifle. And then I have another Marlin that's really rare. It's the Marlin 338, which
you got one of those?
Not the 338 Lapua or whatever. I need to sell this fucking thing because rounds are like $6 a pop now.
Dude, see, that's what's crazy is that with a shotgun shell, there's a special type of shotgun shells you have to get for your shotgun to like have it rifled, and you could shoot out like 150 yards with these things now. And a box of 5 is upwards of like $35-$40.
Wow.
Yeah. So Winchester was smart, and they knew that a lot of
when you say Winchester, you mean the character from MASH.
Yes, and he went. Yeah, and so he developed this caliber, and then went to.
That's fucking amazing.
It really is. He's genius, and it's a thing called a straight wall cartridge, which means that bullets when they go up and then it kind of like necks down a little bit to the actual bullet. These are the same size all the way up, so it's called straight wall. So Maryland and another like 12 states said that you can use that type of caliber in lieu of shotgun if you wanted to. So Winchester was like, well, here is a round that is designed for shotgun states just for deer, called 350 Legend. It's basically a 357.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a surgeon.
Yep. It's amazing, right? So I was going to take that to Canada, but the thing is that I built my gun on an AR platform just because I was going to build one like. I just thought they were cool. I went through and I got like the lower. I did all the background checks. Like I'm not one of those guys that do it. Like I did all the background checks, and I was just gonna build just a fun like plinking gun. And then I realized that 350 Legend, it shares the exact same things as a standard AR. The only difference is the magazine and the barrel itself. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna build something, I'd rather build it and I can actually use this during hunting season. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, you could definitely take down a black bear with that, but it's illegal in Canada. So I was like, okay. So bow, and he said, yeah, bow. And I said, okay, can I take a handgun with me as a sidearm, just because I have a bow? And he said, no, that's illegal too. So I'm like, what can I take? All I can take is a bear spray. So bear spray and a bow.
Can you take a friend who has a rifle?
No.
Oh, you gotta be out by yourself.
Well, my friend's going with me. He's going to record everything. We're going to film it, but
he can't be armed.
He can't be armed. So he's going to bring machete and another thing of bear spray. So
you should bring that they probably don't have a rule about another larger bear.
Yeah, I should. That's on cocaine.
Yeah, just bring a coked up mother bear.
Yeah.
That loves you.
Yeah, that only loves me.
Knows you have no ill will towards any other bear except for that one.
What if I pretend to be its cub? And then I'm like, Mom, it's hurting me.
I can see that. You do have that cuddly feature.
Yeah, I should play into that.
You ever seen that movie about that idiot who went to live with the bears?
Mm-mm.
It's
yeah, like the bear guy, and then he ended up getting eaten.
You can see him by the bears, obviously.
Yeah, we all knew it was going to happen.
Like, you'd be shocked if it didn't happen. But if you ever watch that movie, he gets on really well with the foxes. And I'm
Really?
like, dude, you should have just done that. Like,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, if you get bit by one of those, you're like,
foxes.
exactly.
And you could have done that where there weren't grizzly bears.
Right, because grizzlies are,
They're going to eat you.
and they did. Like, I just think it's so crazy. And this guy was
Yeah.
like, they would never eat me. Come on, man. It's an
Oh,
effing
they
bear.
love me too much. They respect me for what I do.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They were just hungry. Oh, no.
So what do you think about the
Sounds like
sea? Oh, we're
the
done?
sea? No.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at all these questions I had for you. When you say the sea, you mean the letter?
Briny deep.
Oh, the briny deep sea?
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
What do you think about hunting? This was an interesting hunting I did for a while. I was doing it for a story I was working on.
Really?
But, and then I ended up having interpersonal things with the guy I was writing a story about. He didn't like my politics, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And I don't care what your politics are, but we were going out. He was the first commercial bow fisherman in Maryland, and we were bow fishing for flathead cat.
Really?
You know, like invasive catfish, and snakeheads.
Yeah.
And he had this beautiful 24-foot aluminum boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he had welded old high school football bleachers on the front.
Really?
Banks of super bright LEDs, and I still have my fishing bow. And you stand on there, and we go over these flats, right? And they're maybe 6 foot deep, if that, 4 foot, and it's lush greenery, and these lights would light it up like daylight.
Right.
And we'd see so many goldfish. We'd shoot the goldfish too because they're just invasive.
Right.
But they're like, a breeding population of 3 foot goldfish in the Potomac River.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's and they're beautiful when the light hits them at night.
It's like shine and
yeah, and then but it's funny the thing, it's funny they're really. I was saying at the time, this is 8 years ago. I'm like, I said 10 years from now there'll be a limit on snakeheads, and maybe we're not quite there yet, but there will be.
There will be.
The shit that they were afraid of the snakehead eating, the bass were introduced in the 1800s. It's like, but people like fishing them, and now people really like fishing for snakehead.
Apparently, it's really good.
I think they're a little weird. Honestly, the texture is a little weird for me.
Really?
But I get it, and they're fun to shoot, man.
Yeah, that's what I would love to do is go out, do some bow fishing. I watch a lot of videos of that, and I'm like, man, this looks like so much fun. Well, I've never done it, but I would love to do it.
I'm a large man, 6'2", at the time, 225 pounds and in shape. Now I'm a little more than that, not in shape. But I shot this fucking catfish. It was the biggest one I ever got. It's probably 45 pounds.
Jeez.
Shot it through the head with a bow and arrow. For the bow, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the bow is the Italian cousin of the guy we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mr. Fudabati. Fucking real. You pull it in this fish through the hole in its head.
Yep.
Pull it into the boat. Beat it savagely with a lead pipe.
To make sure it's dead.
I'm 5 times this creature's size. Whabow, just beating it. The coolers were all full, so we just throw it. There's no ice, there's no nothing. We just throw it in the bottom of the boat. 3 hours later, we get back to the fucking dock. That fish was fine. Still fighting.
Really?
If I dropped it in the water, it would have swam off. It was still I was like, God damn! I jumped back and then had to hit it again with a pipe several times. It was like, fuck you, motherfucker.
That is crazy.
I'm a superior being.
Today I had crabs, and they were the most. They were the nastiest crabs I've ever cooked. They were leaping at me. I don't know. I had no idea.
Personality.
Yeah. I didn't realize that crabs could jump. And they were jumping up off, trying to pinch me. I was like, "What is going on?" So I made sure I put Old Bay right in their eyes.
You talk about jumping crabs. I dated a broad like that. Just right out. It's like 3D almost.
Yeah,
you're coming in like this. You're like, cover the beard.
Effing crabs.
Not that kind of crabs.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, not that kind. So, you also said that you're a reluctant, if frequent camper. What do you mean when you say it like that? Like you go camping, but you don't like it, but you go a lot, or you're kind of forced into it. Okay,
all of that is true.
Okay,
I don't dislike. I mean, I like it, but it's not my natural state of being. Like I would like to camp in a hotel.
Okay, yeah. It's like my wife, yeah.
But like right now, I'm in my home here in Baltimore, Maryland, and my wife is camping in Cape Henlopen.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then this coming weekend, we'll be camping near Schenectady, on some lake.
That sounds lovely.
It does sound lovely. Dude, my wife planned a trip this summer, and I was like, fucking no. No, I'm not going. Like, she took the kids to Indiana to go camping.
Oh, wow.
From Baltimore.
That's crazy.
That's 11 hours of driving with children, and potentially, if I'd gone, also a dog, to camp, right?
Right.
We could camp here.
I mean, it's true. You can camp in your bedroom where your bed is.
There's nothing in Indiana, and I said no, I won't do it, and she went and did it on her own.
With the kids or just her?
With the kids. Wow. Yeah, she met friends out there. She had a whole group that were camping in Indiana for reasons. She's from Kentucky, which is like near Indiana, but. Like, I can only do so much fucking camping, and I have to do a lot more of it than I ever planned.
That's crazy.
If I ever want to have sex.
Yeah, so you have to make your wife happy to have sex, which is, I've learned that the hard way, too.
Yes.
Sometimes I have to give more back rubs than I really want to, even though I'm tired.
But back? My wife, it's feet. Oh, Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
my wife will love it. If I touch my wife's feet, she's like, you're going to keep on going, right? I'm like, all right, I guess I am. But sometimes I try to trade her. I'm like, back rub her, and she's like, no. I'm like, man.
What percentage of hunting shows get into foot rubs, do you think? Like 7%?
I mean, probably at least that. The bow fishing ones here probably do a lot more of.
When you're really out in the bush, when you're really out in the backcountry, like it's a good foot rub. That's a good hunting partner.
It is a good hunting partner. I love it.
Bill, my feet are just killing me. Just killing me.
Bill, do you mind just... Here's some gloves. Like, here's the gutting gloves, but you can just use them for my feet today because I know they smell like a dead deer after walking a lot.
Hunt when the apocalypse comes?
Do I plan to hunt when the apocalypse comes?
No, do you know where to hunt when the apocalypse comes? I'll tell you where to do it locally and nationally.
Okay.
Locally, you want to go to fucking, what do you call that? The park, where Gunpowder State Park hits the bay.
Okay.
At the Hammerman area.
Right there.
It's this giant area, and there hasn't been hunting there for fuck all, and you could hunt deer with a staple gun.
Like, so there's probably a lot.
There's lots of them, and they come right up to you like, hey, what's going on?
And you're just like...
And you just, so when the apocalypse comes, you go to fucking Hammerman area. This is my plan. You go to the Hammerman area with a ball peen hammer and a salt lick. And you just hold a bow. Again, that sound.
So why take the hammer? Why not just take the lead pipe? Well, if the lead pipe didn't kill a fish...
Well, I don't have that. Lead pipe wasn't my lead pipe.
Oh.
That was his lead pipe.
Well, it didn't work.
But I do have a ball peen hammer.
Well, that'll
honestly
hopefully work.
I feel like a ball peen hammer is a better weapon.
You think so?
Honestly, I'd have killed that fish with a ball peen hammer. But
just carrying that with you.
I would have marred its flesh.
Right, you don't want to do that.
They were selling.
Oh, so you wouldn't even get to eat that stuff.
No, this is a commercial harvest. They were selling all this. Oh, wow. We would bring in 600-700 pounds of fish a night.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was so fun. Good guys.
You had to piss them off.
Dutch Baldwin. I think that was his name. And he constantly in the like records of like biggest fucking snakehead in Maryland.
Really?
But I've never been hunting. And a buddy of mine's about to buy. Like, I don't have a place to. I got my
Right.
license.
Oh, do you?
I
Okay.
want to. A buddy of mine's looking to buy like 40 acres, and I think he'll let me hunt there if he does.
That'd be cool. So that was one of my questions. Is you say that you're a hopeful hunter?
I don't have a place to do it.
But what's the thing that that you want to hunt for? Like, what is it that intrigues you about hunting?
Well,
let me tell you.
I turned into a 9-year-old boy.
Well,
I don't know, man. There's a lot. I eat meat, right? And so I should be willing and able and have experience killing that meat. I've done it with fish and crabs and shit like that.
Yep.
But I've never done it with like anything that walks or flies.
Right.
And I think that's something I should experience.
Yeah.
If there is, and I think it's a good way. I think it's culturally important.
I agree.
I think it's part of who we are as humans, let alone Americans.
Yeah.
So I value it. I want to share it with my kids, and it sounds fun.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I agree with you. Well, it's funny. Like I think it was like my first episode, I was talking to my cousin about this exact thing, and I said that I think that we're completely just like disassociated where our food comes from. You go to a supermarket and there's burgers and there's a steak, but at the same time, something had to die for that burger or steak or the pepperoni that's on the pizza to be there. Like, and a lot of things, these things are born to die for your pizza. At least when you're out hunting, you are truly going after something that has been as cage free as you could ever want.
Yeah,
and you're eating it.
And it's we've hunted out their predators, and we've created a hyper productive food web for them.
Yep.
In our farm system. So we've native peoples in this region farmed for deer by doing controlled burns, right?
Right, exactly.
And that greatly increased the harvest of deer. But what we've done is like light years beyond that. As far as so there's just a shit ton of deer.
The number one cause of accidents in Maryland, car accidents, is deer.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say your mom.
Well, she caused a lot of accidents too. Oh, Dolly, she got to watch out.
Your mom is a saint. I'm sorry, I was just kidding.
I mean, she is a saint, but she also probably does cause a lot of accidents too. So.
Oh my god, my wife is the worst driver in the planet. It's fucking frightening. Like, it's truly frightening to see that.
Is she aggressive or?
No, she's just not paying attention ever.
Oh, really?
And she doesn't think laws apply to her. Like, if a law doesn't make sense to her in the moment,
right?
It doesn't. It's not like it says no entry, hun. Well, they don't mean me,
right?
Like, clearly, I can entry.
Right. Like, it says wrong way, but clearly that's not for me. This is the right way because I'm driving this way. So.
Oh my god! One of the greatest jokes I ever did, and it had a shelf life of 3 weeks, and because I started comedy in way back in 2001 or 2000, something like that. And in the early days of the Bush 2 presidency, a spy plane, not a spy, but what do you call it? A surveillance aircraft of the U.S. Navy collided with a Chinese fighter plane and had to crash land in China, and it was an intelligence coup for China, whatever. But the name of the Chinese pilot, I shit you not, was Wang Wei.
Was it really?
I swear to fucking God, his name was Wang Wei, and I'm going to call it It was his fault. It was Wong Wei's fault.
I think it was.
It was either him or his mechanic wing gone. That's a 23-year-old joke of mine.
And it's still just as funny as it was when I was 10, you know?
And just as relevant.
It is. Didn't something just happen in
Does
China
anybody
where
remember the obscure spy incident of 1997?
does anybody remember the obscure spy balloon of 6 months ago?
Dude, so sorry, but have you been following all the UFO shit in the news?
Oh yeah, I love it.
So, during the pandemic, do you remember the pandemic?
Not really. Vaguely. I was drunk most of the time.
That happened, and I sold my car during the pandemic, and then I was like going to get a cheaper car. I had this really fly Golf R, Volkswagen Golf R, that was putting 500 horsepower at the wheels. It was a beast. Jeez. It was a fucking fire breather. It was a badass car. Anyway, but I sold it during the pandemic, and I was going to buy a Fiat 500 Abarth Spider, like a little Fiat, right?
Yeah.
And my wife said I could do it, and I was all set to do it. And then I told my wife, "Oh, I'm going to do it," and she said, "I didn't really mean you could do it," and then told me I couldn't get the car.
So you didn't get it.
That's not the story. Thank God, because that wasn't very interesting.
No, it was sad.
The dude who was going to sell me the car, who I talked to quite a bit on the Facebook for a while, was a fighter pilot,
really,
of all things, in the U.S. Navy, flying Super Hornets out of Norfolk.
Wow.
And I jokingly said to him, "Have you spent the last 6 weeks chasing UFOs up and down the coast? You probably can't tell me." And he was like, "Holy shit, man." That got so the New York Times article about that had the FLIR cam off of Norfolk of the thing, like he's like, that was my wingman this week.
Really?
And he's still totally freaked out.
They're real, man. Aliens are real.
Something out there is weird. Like, that doesn't sound Chinese off the coast of Norfolk.
No.
It ain't the Russians. Like,
I mean, it could be us. So what I do for a living now is I work at Northrop Grumman, and I do stuff with the antennas for the F-35.
Oh, cool. Hiding them?
We make them. My unit makes them. But my boss swears, because he's been in the military for like 20 years, and he said that some of the stuff that he has seen has him convinced that the U.S. is the actual UFO phenomenon, and that the people like the Air Force pilots and all these commanders and everything, they just don't have the clearances to know. So when they see it, it's something that isn't normal, but it's 100% us. And he swears by that.
My dad was in the Air Force in the 50s. And it's funny. His main job in the Air Force was playing point guard.
Really?
He was on the Air Force's basketball team. But he was in the... he tells this story. He was in... he told. He's dead. Maybe he still tells it from beyond the grave.
Maybe, yeah.
On a wintry night, if you just listen just so, you can hear old Jim Meyer. And he would tell this story like about he was in the radar tower, and this was the time where the American fighter jet was a Sabre, right?
Mm-hmm.
F-86.
We make the Sabre.
Yeah, and he's like, they scrambled the Sabres after this thing, and it fucking blew down the runway and then just changed direction, and it was just in and out of their radar, and but it went past the tower like 3 times, and these Sabre jets just couldn't keep up with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he would tell that story, and I don't know, maybe he was fucking with me, I don't know. Dads will do that.
Dads will,
Dad's
but
a dad.
I mean, my dad used to do it all the time. He'd tell me scary stories about his house used to be haunted, and some of the stories they lasted until I was in my 30s, when I was like, he had to be lying. He had to be lying to me. He used to tell a story where he got out of the shower one day, and he was like drying his face off in front of the mirror. And when he pulled his towel down, he said a little tiny monkey head with a beard was staring right at him, was floating. And he said that he was being dead serious and how like he used to go to sleep and hear noises and turn the lights on, and all the posters in his room were upside down. Yeah, stuff like that. And I'm like, Dad. And he's like, no, I'm being serious. And then my uncles would be like, we lived with him. It's so true. And these are like the campfire stories that like we're sitting around the campfire and they're telling me these stories, and I'm freaking the F out at like 9-10 years old. I'm like, I can't go to sleep now in the woods. Like, what are you doing to me? Yeah.
My buddy, when I was living out in Portland, one of my best friends to this day, we were roommates in Portland, and his job was doing motorcycle escort for funerals.
Oh man.
So he had a KZ-1000 police bike, right? Fucking killer Kawasaki police bike, right? Would dress like a fucking officer, and his job was to like zip past the funeral procession and like block intersections and like go the wrong way down. I mean, like the guy who ran the thing was the lead stuntman of the General Lee in Dukes of Hazzard TV show.
Which this guy wasn't a real cop. He just helped him out.
No, it's so in Oregon there's a law that the funeral procession has to have a motorcycle escort to like shut down intersections and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it's an incredibly dangerous job, and it didn't pay much, and it was young dumb fucks who were doing it.
Right.
But my buddy got to do it, and it was a blast. He got to ride a fucking police motorcycle like a policeman, while a policeman waved at him as he like zips by in a 25 going the wrong way at like 80. You know, like,
that's crazy.
But the stories he had about that place, the motor pool at the fucking funeral home, were crazy. Like the craziest one was they were sitting there and it was like the middle of the day and it wasn't being run, and then there was just banging from inside the crematorium.
Oh my god.
Kabow, 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 you know? That Italian guy again. God. So anyway, it's just crazy stuff. But they said they would come in. He said they came in one time and they couldn't find the keys to any of the motorcycles. And they eventually found them. Somebody had, in the middle of the night, unscrewed the mirrors off the bikes. Put the keys, like the key hook, over, and then screwed the mirror back down. So to get the key, you had to unscrew the mirror. Like, and that was the middle. And imagine if there is something to ghosts. And you realize, like, the crazy shit you would do if you found yourself haunting a funeral home.
Yeah, stuff like that. I would totally do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, not interesting, but true.
But it's scary. Like, stuff like that scares me.
Every time, so it's funny that my dad, I have ghost stories about my dad, right? But I don't about my mom. My mom died in my house 2 years ago.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard. But thank you. But April Fool's Day, I was alone. My family was out camping.
Of course they were. Yeah,
they were. And I was home taking care of my mom. I came in the morning to give her breakfast, and she was gone. She wasn't that gone because she had clearly gotten up and gotten herself a Coca-Cola.
Yep.
But she was gone. And I'll tell you, I went into the kitchen, and there was a pair of cardinals just sitting at the kitchen window. And people always say associate the cardinals with the spirits of recently departed. But there's also a shit ton of cardinals out there. But I will tell you, I felt like her presence, and it was very different than with my dad. I have very specific ghost stories about my dad. My mom, it just felt like a hug and a goodbye.
Really?
Is that interesting?
It's very interesting because my mother-in-law is she's always talking about cardinals and being that exactly. So you said that, I knew exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, like ghosts still scare me. You can be friendly ghosts. You could be Casper, and I'll be terrified of you. But aliens don't scare me.
Oh, fucking aliens scare the shit out of me.
Really? They don't scare me at all. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'll talk to them.
Ghosts, if they're ghosts, they've been here the whole fucking time. They got nothing.
Right.
You know? But an alien, he's just showing up, and he's way ahead of us.
Way ahead of us.
I don't want to be like somebody's pet. I don't know. Like, I know how I treat my pet. And I know he appreciates it. And I know I'd probably appreciate whatever attention the alien gave me. But it scares me.
It does scare me. I just my hamstring just cramped so bad I almost fell off my chair.
That's how the podcast ends every episode?
Right? Yeah, I guess so, right?
Bling.
Man, no. I just went to move something, and yeah, I mean now I'm standing. So I guess the seat is exactly the same height as my standing, which is nice. But wow, that really... I was listening to you, and I was like, let me just move my leg over here. And all of a sudden, my leg was like, F you. You're not going to move.
Ooh,
It's like
that's
ghosts. See, we're talking about ghosts, and then all of a sudden that happens.
A ghost gave you a child.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Severn.
So do you know where the term Charlie horse comes from?
No. But I know that everybody talks, like, everybody calls it Cramp a Charlie horse. I've never really understood why.
Comes from right here in Baltimore, my friend.
Those are really?
It really does. The turn of the last century Orioles, the like Wee Willie Keeler Orioles that owned baseball from like the 1890s to like 1902,
Yep.
and then they moved to New York and became the New York Highlanders, and then became the Yankees.
Wow.
But anyway, the Orioles were the power team of the late 1800s, and they had Wee Willie Keeler, and they had Bill what's his fuck, and Sam Baseball Pants. A lot of
Sam
great,
baseball pants. They sound great.
they're a really great team, but they had a fucking like hit them where they ain't. That came
Yep.
from them.
Really?
All this shit. The Baltimore Chop, but they had a tip on a horse that couldn't lose at Pimlico, named Charlie,
Really?
and the whole fucking Orioles team went out and bet on this horse. And the horse was way out ahead, pulled up lane down the stretch, gets passed by the field, and ever after that, when they're led with, motherfucker, I got a Charlie horse.
That's crazy.
From Baltimore baseball. A lot of people
Baltimore
don't know
baseball is... It really is amazing how much stuff has happened in Baltimore.
So-
It's true.
that. I have a closing story if you like.
I would love it. I love your stories.
So I was in I used to work for the Audubon Society, and we would work with kids groups out at Patterson Park, right?
Okay.
And it was like little kids. It was a summer program. It was like right when I moved back to Baltimore, just part time, and I'm working with these little kids. It was the Frederick Douglass Society, right? And there was an older kid, a high school kid, who was working with the program, and he and I are bullshitting while the kids are doing their crafts or whatever, and he's a really cool kid, and we're talking, and I was like, Frederick Douglass lived like 3 blocks from here, right? And this kid looked at me and said, "Who's Frederick Douglass?" And I was like, "You're part of the Frederick," and I was like, well, I tell him who Frederick Douglass, what I know of Frederick Douglass, and he pauses and says, "I never knew anything important ever happened in Baltimore." He's a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this hill you're standing on was built out of oyster shells ahead of the British advance during the War of 1812. Like, this is like, if Baltimore had fallen, the country would have fallen. Like, right where you're standing is where they defended the city. And right out there that you can see from here is where Fort McHenry fought off the British and the national anthem was written, in the War of 1812. And the kid looked at me and said, "Sir, did you fight in that war?"
And did you say to him, yeah.
I was like, "Motherfucker, I was a Spanish-American War veteran. I'm offensive. How old do you think I am? I'm nearly 223 years old. You son
That's
of a
hilarious.
bitch." The kid had no fucking sense of time scale, really. He didn't
Kids
know.
really don't.
I was like the oldest person he knew.
Yeah, like my 5-year-old, he'll like sit down, and then he'll like watch something for 5 minutes, and then I'll be like, "Hey, Moss, we gotta go." And he's like, "I've only been sitting here for 2 hours, Dad." And I'm like, "Nah, it's been like 5 minutes." And it goes like either way. Like if he doesn't want to do something, it's that he hasn't been sitting there that long, and if he does want to do something, then it's not long enough. And they really don't have sense of time.
No.
And I remember being like his age, and I have like fragments of like things I remember, and I remember telling my dad that the toaster took like 10 minutes, and my dad said it does. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe that I got to 10 minutes right. Why that like has stuck with me now, because I'm a lot older than 5. I don't understand. But that one thing did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Man. Well, thank you for coming on. It's about an hour, I guess. I don't want to keep you because it's getting late.
Yeah, it's been longer. How long have we? Oh, it's only been an hour. It felt like 10 minutes.
See what I mean? It's like 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Is there anything
Not an hour.
particularly outdoorsy we need to talk about still? Moose is delicious.
Moose, I love moose. I can't wait to eat bear. I mean, if I'm lucky enough to shoot one.
Uh-huh.
We do got to go fishing together.
Okay.
So next time you go, we should go fishing. I'll get you some venison because I have plenty of it.
Excellent.
You can get some deer. I suck at turkey hunting, but I'm trying. I'm trying my best to shoot a turkey.
This may be fun to talk about for your audience.
Yeah.
I've been doing the skeet shooting.
I love skeet shooting. It's so much fun, isn't it?
Oh my god! I was in a league.
Where?
And
PG County? Did you go out there to that one?
no, right here in Baltimore.
Really? Okay.
I was out at Loch Raven.
Oh,
Loch
yeah,
Raven
yeah.
And Trap.
I
And
love it.
kid I went to high school with is like now or has been longtime president of the Loch Raven Skeet and Trap Association or whatever. Like when we were in high school, he would cut class to go skeet shooting.
Really?
Like he's like a nationally ranked shooter of the skeet. Like if I was a skeet, I would not fuck with him.
Dude, shooting skeet is fun.
Yeah. I haven't done trap. I want to do trap.
Trap is a lot. It's just one of those things. It's just fun going out there and just seeing those clay pigeons just explode.
Yeah.
Hit it right. Like I've never dusted them perfectly, but I have a couple friends that go all the time. And like when you dust one where it's just like a poof in the air, you hit that thing perfect. I can't do that.
I've done a couple of clinics with this dude Todd Bender, who's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And he teaches shotgunning skills to the Navy SEALs and whatnot.
That's awesome.
But he gets you on it, and he breaks down the math. There's a total. It's really wild. They're each hole has a specific math, And,
really.
And once you get that, the wind still sucks and things like that, but it's crazy how it just how many I started breaking.
Just because he was telling you the math behind it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cool.
It really is. Yeah, I got to get out there and do that. We should do that one time. We'll just go out and shoot.
If you ever want to go skeet shooting,
I'm down.
Because I don't know anybody to go skeet shooting with, and it's hard to go skeet shooting with by yourself because you take full and nothing happens.
Right. Oh, I got to do it myself. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely down. We should set up a little datey poo and do it.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Well, cool, man. Well, thank you. And I'm going to have this up in a couple days. I normally love to keep the conversations completely raw.
Okay, whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, that'll be good. So, all right. Well, thank you again, and I will talk to you soon.
Wow.